Railways have been an important industry for quite a while. They have helped mankind traverse the land with strength and speed unlike many had never seen before in the modern age. And while it has enamored people from all walks of life about the career paths of working on the railroad, it is very much a dangerous job. Probably one of the biggest fears for anyone in this profession is the exact situation that happens in this film, a runaway engine. With that amount of force, momentum, and weight behind such a mass clocking in above a recommended speed limit, these behemoths can become quite an instrument of destruction. The way it's portrayed here for the time is commendable, but the story is where it's lacking, which is surprising considering the lead actor won a Golden Globe for it. The concept was originally penned by Akira Kurosawa, who directed Seven Samurai in 1954, and would later have that story adapted into The Magnificent Seven of 1960. The screenplay was adapted by George Milicevic, Paul Zindel, and Edward Bunker, where two convicts, Manny, played by John Voight, and Buck, Eric Roberts, escape a maximum security prison ran by Rankin, played by John P. Ryan. Together they hide on a freight train where they discover no drivers controlling the now runaway engine. They also discover a crew member by the name of Sarah, played by Rebecca de Mornay, who was asleep when the runaway took off. Together, she looks to stop the train while simultaneously the convicts try to avoid being captured. This was also director Andrei Konchalovsky's first action drama in North America, the same person who went on to direct Tango and Cash of 1989. This movie, from a filmmaking viewpoint, is very well crafted. The problem is its script and acting. Viewers will have a hard time connecting with the main characters. Rebecca de Mornay perhaps plays a character more relatable only because anyone would be scared in that situation to begin with. However, for Voight and Roberts' roles, there is no indication as to what there is to sympathize with these two criminals. Manny is a high-profile bank robber, and Buck is convicted of sexual assault. The story shows it's not Manny or Buck's fault for the runaway train, nor do they kill anyone when they escape the prison, but they did break out of prison, so they're still in the wrong. In certain ways, the movie seems like it tries to impress upon its viewers that we are to care for them, when really, how could we, when we haven't been given any context or any other reason? It's just the Sarah character that's forced into this uncomfortable situation who seems to be the only likable one. Not even John P. Ryan as Rankin is likable. Yes, he wants to bring the criminals back, but he has this crazed personality as well. The acting is questionable at times too, specifically with Voight. At times he goes from reserved to completely outlandish. There are also appearances from Kyle T. Hefner, T.K. Carter, Kenneth McMillan, Danny Trejo, Tommy Tiny Lister, and Carmen Philby. Aside from these points, one cannot ignore the technical prowess of this film and how it was executed. When the diesel locomotive leaves the rail yard, that's when things get intense. It's actually quite peculiar how similar this film is to Unstoppable. And because this was 1985, viewers can be sure all effects used were practical. Everything from the sound design of the rails hissing before the train coming, to the clanking of the couplings, it's all very realistic feeling and treacherous. Credit should be given to Alan Hume for being such a competent director of photography as well. The angles at which are filmed for this feature can be quite dizzying, being that of how the viewer will feel while watching. The shots are made to look like this viewer is riding this megaton engine flying down the line at 90 miles an hour. It's really scary. Hume also filmed for Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi and Supergirl. Sadly, the music was disappointing. Not because of how it sounded. If anything, it was because it wasn't heard enough. Composed by the underrated Trevor Jones, the score is an interesting mix of synthesizers and orchestra. Unfortunately, it's not highlighted enough to truly be recognized. Thankfully, a score does exist to purchase, but it would have been helpful to hear it in the film too. From a film tech perspective, it should be praised for how it was carried out. The tracking and internal shots of this chase is quite unique, as are all the practical effects used. But this doesn't take away that viewers may not have compassion for the two lead characters, Voight's uneven acting, and hidden musical score that should have been featured more.